Hello, Tom Conway.
Tom, where'd you graduate from?
Graduated from Argyle High School in 1965.
What'd you do after graduation?
Attended Mayville State Teachers College for 1 year, and then I transferred from Mayville to University of Minnesota Tech at Crookston. Spent 1 year there. After winter quarter, I took a break for spring quarter to go do some work and earn some money for fall quarter. June of '68, I received my letter from the government saying you've been selected, please report to the draft board.
So you were drafted?
I was drafted, yes. I thought about that for a while, and I thought, well, I've been working in business, and for college I was taking business, and then I was taking accounting, so it's, you know, I'm going to go down and enlist. And I went down June '68 and enlisted in the Army. Went to the induction center, passed my physical, and I went to basic training, Fort Lewis, Washington.
How'd you get to Fort Lewis?
We went by train.
From Fargo?
From Fargo. Took us, 4 days and 3 nights, I believe it was. Or is it 3 nights? Whatever, something like that. 4 days and 3 nights, I'd say it was. Graduated from basic training, Fort Lewis. From there, I received my orders to go to Fort Gordon, Georgia.
Well, when you were in basic training, anything stand out in your mind about the training?
Push-ups. We did so many push-ups, I thought, what good is push-ups doing us if we're going to be fighting in a war? But,
did you do any forced marches or night marches or anything like that?
No, I missed the 20-mile hike that they normally take, or the 20-mile march. We received our flu shots, and I ended up in the hospital with flu. So I missed the 20-mile hike. That was about the only thing that really kind of funny. Drill sergeant wasn't too happy about that.
Were they doing the gas chamber at the time?
Yeah, we did the gas chambers. So
crawl under the 50 or the
under the
M60
machine guns, crawl under the barbed wire, and then after you get done, everybody turned around to look and see how much stuff you left behind. And there was helmets and rifles and gas masks and the whole works. It was quite a sight to see. So,
fun time.
yeah, it was.
Okay, and you went through the ceremony, I'm sure, for
Yep.
basic training. And then did you have some time off between getting from...
No, I went right from Fort Lewis, Washington graduation, boarded plane, to Fort Gordon, Georgia.
And this was what month? Remember?
That would have been in August. The hardest part there could ever be down south.
A little humid.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Okay. And how'd that go with your AIT training?
It was all right. I had when I enlisted, I had worked or went to college for business and finance or accounting. When I enlisted, I signed up to go to finance. Well, they kind of changed their mind and put me in the military police corps. So I did military police training at Fort Gordon, Georgia.
So did you test high for that, or what was the deal on that?
I have no idea what the deal was all about. All I remember is the sergeant telling me, said, "Did you read the fine print at the bottom?" And I said, "What was that?" And he said, "That's the one that says if school's available at the time of graduation." I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "School wasn't available, I take it."
So what was all involved in MP training?
Oh, you just did the basics of the military justice and stuff like that, and learning to be a police officer.
There was a lot of classroom work?
What was that?
There was a lot of classroom work?
Yep. classroom work. That was about it. Graduated in October from basic training, or from AIT, and received orders. Well, the first orders we received was what was that one? It was RVN training, which I didn't think too much of.
RVN training?
Republic of Vietnam. In other words, you were going to go be out like you're out in the jungle. I think we were supposed to go to the Philippines for that training. Well, those orders were canceled, and received the next set of orders, and that was to go to Panama. So we sat around waiting for getting our orders finalized, and that was another month and a half. We sat there in Fort Morton, Georgia. Finally, they come back and said, no, those orders are canceled. You received new orders, you're going to Japan. Got my orders, went home for leave. In November, I flew out to Japan out of California. And I was stationed at Camp Zama, Japan, military police.
You fly out of Oakland then, or?
Yeah.
And you flew into Japan. What was your duty there?
Military police, just patrolling. Camp Zama at that time was kind of the place for recovery for the people that are wounded or hurt in Vietnam and stuff. And Camp Zama was the kind of replacement center for them. And that's about what it was. And we just did normal police work.
So how long were you in Japan?
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, I was there for 2 years, and I came back to the States, was sent back, ordered back to the States, and ended up at Carlisle Barracks, where the War College is at.
In
Philadelphia, Harrisburg, I think it is.
Pennsylvania?
It's in Pennsylvania anyway.
Okay.
And was there for Carlisle Barracks. I was there for a month, and then we got sent to Indiantown Gap Military Reservation.
How many years did you enlist for?
I re-enlisted while I was in Japan.
Okay.
So I enlisted, which was 2 years. I think, yeah.
So you
No, 3
re-enlisted?
years.
You re-enlisted for how long?
I was in the service for 6 years.
But
So
when you're in Japan, you re-enlisted
re-enlisted, yeah.
for 2 more years or 4?
3.
3 years? Okay.
So, and it was, like I said, we went to Indiantown Gap Military Reservation just outside of Harrisburg. I was there for, let's see, 2 years. Got there in 71, no, 1 year. Got there in 70, 2 years I was there, 71, 72.
Okay.
Then I received orders for Vietnam.
Okay. And so you're on the East Coast, so now you have to get to the West Coast to go to Vietnam,
Same
correct?
place, Oakland, go down to Oakland, flew
Did
out of
you-
Oakland.
Did you get leave before you went?
Yep, I got leave to come home. I bought a car, drove home from Pennsylvania. I think I was home for, let's see,
30 days?
yeah, 30 days. Got to Oakland. I think it was Oakland we flew out of. And kind of funny because most people that went to Vietnam, they went together as a unit. Most of the people on the flight going to Vietnam at that time, the flight I was on, you weren't in a unit, you were more individual type. Like I was in the military police, another guy over here was in something else. And so I never had a unit when I got to Vietnam. We landed in Da Nang, and of course you got the normal welcome from the Viet Cong. As the plane landed and you were debarking, they dropped a couple of rockets into the area. It couldn't hit anything, but it was, we're welcoming you to Vietnam.
There you go.
So I was in Vietnam for, I was in Da Nang for it was about a month, and then they loaded us up in a C-130, and we flew down to, I think it was Long Binh.
Went south. You went south.
Yeah, it went south. At Long Binh for, we were there 2 weeks, and they were trying to figure out where they're going to send us. And finally they loaded us up in a deuce and a half and drove us over to Saigon, and that's where I joined the 716th Military Police Battalion.
That's where you're stationed the whole time you're there?
That's where I was finished up in there. Came home in 73.
Okay, when you were in Saigon, what were your duties there? You were
It
MP?
was the same. We had a lot of problems with, because that was kind of a R&R place for these people coming out of the fields and stuff, and they'd get off in Saigon and, you know, have a night out or whatever it was. So we walked through the bar area. The main one was Tudo Street. Prior to me getting there, Tudo Street was kind of a bad place to be because there were the Viet Cong were slipping into places and dropping off satchels and blowing places up and so on and so forth. And that's about what we did. We still, when I got there, it kind of cooled down. They had made the area a little safer than what it was. So we just drove around. We had a vehicle we drove in. We checked the bars. We'd go to any incident that a military person was involved in. We had to go investigate it. And that was about it.
Okay, while you're there, you received the Bronze Star, correct?
Yes.
Did you want to talk about that at all?
There's nothing to talk about.
Did you want to say how you received it?
I don't know. The guy never really wrote the message why I received it.
Well, you must have known something.
Well, he was stalled and his car was stalled. It was a colonel. Car was stalled somewhere and we came out and got him. And how the heck, I can't remember how that read in the award, but
Was it under fire or?
No, it was just out in the area where it shouldn't have been.
He was somewhere where he shouldn't have been?
He shouldn't have been,
And you shouldn't have had to go out there?
and we had to go out there.
Yeah.
So, get him, bring him back, and that was about it.
So, anything else about Vietnam that stands out? Did you have an R&R? And then,
No, I never took R&R. I didn't. If you take R&R, you spend a full 12 or 12 months, or what, you there for a year? I think it is, isn't it?
you got a week usually in 12 months, yeah.
Yeah. So I said no. I said I don't want any R&R. We gotta get out of here quicker that way. So, but yeah, that was about it. And
So
the only thing that really bothers a lot is I worked with a guy. He was an E5. I was an E5. We had worked our patrol of Saigon. His name was Sam Gebhardt from South Dakota. The only thing that really we talked about was there was a part of Saigon is called Cholan, and Cholan is where they came out in '68 during the Tet Offensive. The Viet Cong came out of that Cholan area, that was an off-limits area to all military personnel because it wasn't a safe area to be in, they figured. So, but that was about it. It's, you know, it's kind of leery about it. You know, we'd have to drive through there once in a while, make sure there was no GIs down there where they weren't supposed to be.
Was that part of Saigon, or?
Yeah, it was a suburb of Saigon.
So it was on the, was it on the east side, west side, north
I
side?
can't even remember the directions now.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's interesting to know that. And so, anything else about Vietnam you'd like to share?
It's hot.
And humid.
It was kind of interesting because while I was there, we had the peace talks come through, and they brought in a group of North Vietnamese. They had a place set up there, and they had brought in some of their soldiers, you know, brought with them. And the thing that kind of set them off was we could drive right by there. We had a patrol area. We went right by the front of the place where the North Vietnamese were at. And we come by that one day and we looked up. Vietnamese flag was flying. So we went and reported it, and the general said, "You go down there and take that flag down."
North Vietnamese flag?
North Vietnamese flag down. And it got to be kind of a thing where they actually activated our reactionary air outfit that was going to come in and back us up. We had the V-100s out and the whole works ready to go. And some high-ranking people come in there and talk to the North Vietnamese and stuff like that, and it's back and forth, and finally they came out and dropped the flag. Because it was our area, it wasn't theirs anymore. It was, you know, so that was about it. While I was there, the funny part was I was on patrol by myself one day, I'm driving around, and all of a sudden I hear this, "Hey, Tom!" I stopped the Jeep and thought, who in the world is that? Turned around. Here comes Jim Levine. He was in the Air Force station at Tonsanut. And I was at the military police station, or police company that was just a ways down from Tonsanut Air Base. So, yeah, we got to see each other and have a little chat, and that was about it.
And Jim Levine was you're younger than you and a hometown boy, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
It was kind of, I was glad to go home.
So
Wait for that giant bird in the sky to take off.
I think they call it the Freedom Bird, right?
Yep, the old Freedom Bird.
Yeah.
I didn't kiss the ground when I got home, though. It was colder than heck in Anchorage, Alaska. We left Saigon, it was 102 degrees. We landed in Anchorage, Alaska, wearing jungle fatigues, 3 below. The plane didn't land at the airport. It didn't dock at the airport. You had to get out and walk to the airport. You talk about 100 guys making a mad dash for a door where only 3 people could fit probably through that one door. The funny part was there was 25 North Vietnamese or South Vietnamese soldiers that were coming back. They were going to go to helicopter school. And one guy stuck his head out the door, and all you heard was a bunch of Vietnamese language, and we never seen him the time we were there.
So, but from Alaska you flew back to Oakland then, or?
From Alaska, no, I came home.
From Alaska?
From Anchorage, yeah. Flew to
Plane home,
Minneapolis.
right, like Grand Forks, or?
Yep.
Really?
Well, I didn't go to Grand Forks, Minneapolis.
To the cities and.
Yeah.
So, were you
Well, I
discharged then?
take that back. No, we flew down to what's that airport in Minneapolis, California? Oh, that's when I came back from Japan.
Usually,
No, we flew from Anchorage. We got into Minneapolis.
right to Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Were you out of the Army then, or?
I got discharged. No. Take that back.
You must have come through Oakland, huh?
Yeah, went to Oakland.
Because that's
And
where they
from
give you
Oakland, I
your
went to
Class A's and,
yeah, went to Kansas and ended up with the at Fort Riley, Kansas,
okay.
and that's where I got discharged from.
So you went to Oakland, you came home for a while, then went to Fort Riley, or?
No, went right straight to Fort Riley.
Okay,
Stationed with, was assigned to the 1st Military Police Company and attached to 1st Infantry Division.
okay.
Funny part was, when I did come home to Argyle there, I was talking with Warren Keller, and we got talking back and forth, and he says, "Where are you at?" And I says, "At Fort Riley, Kansas." He said, "Where are you in?" And I says, "1st Military Police Company." He said, "I was in that same company."
Really?
I said, "Really?" Yeah, it was kind of funny, so. But, yeah, and I got discharged from Fort Riley, Kansas.
How long were you there before you were discharged?
1 year,
Well, you spent another year,
yeah.
and no inkling to be a lifer?
No, when I got stuck with the Big Red One, if everybody knows, that's an infantry outfit. You know, they like to play bivouac games. You go out and camp in a tent once a month, and that wasn't for me.
Okay,
I did go to Germany with the 1st Infantry Division. We were sent over there for the NATO games, or war games.
well, you were in Manhattan when you were in Fort Riley?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we,
Did you spend 6 months there too, or?
yeah, it's about, no,
They said they usually rotated guys every 6 months
Yeah.
from the 1st Division in the Germany.
well, we went there for the NATO war games, the little
Okay.
games they play, you know, stuff like that. And can't remember how long we were there. I think it was three months or so.
3 months, okay.
And when we got back to Fort Riley, Kansas, I discharged there.
Good. So you came home,
And discharged as soon as I got back. My time was up when I got back from Germany.
so you came home to Argyle,
Yep.
and what'd you do?
I got hired by the city. Well, first of all, being I was in Fort Riley, Kansas, I was talking to my parents, saying I'm getting out and we're coming home. And he said, "Where are you?" And I was in Kansas. He said, "Well, there's a harvest brigade that goes down there." He said, "Why don't you work your way back and make some money?" I said, "Yeah, I can do that." Well, he contacted Donnie Fillerut. He's the one that had the harvest brigade. And I met up with them in Eden, Oklahoma. And we went out and worked the harvest brigade and came back to Argyle. And
Was Bob Hebert running it at the time?
Bob Hebert was running it at that time.
Who's all on that crew, you remember?
Oh, it was Bobby Hebert, myself, Randy Fillerut, Donnie Fillerut Jr., and then Mike St. Germain and Dale Hebert joined up with us after they got their driver's license, and then they came down and joined us, and we worked our way back to Argyle. And then while I was home, sat around for a while, and the city of Argyle and the mayor talked to me and asked me if I'd be interested in taking over the job as chief of police in Argyle, which I did. I said, okay.
So then you were police in
I
Argyle
was
for
16 years.
16 years and then from there you became sheriff?
They dissolved the police department in Argyle, and the sheriff's department, Marshall County Sheriff's Department, said they would cover her, and they picked me up as a deputy, and I worked 16 years as a deputy sheriff, and then I retired.
So you're 32 years is
32
in law
years
enforcement.
in civilian law enforcement and 6 years in military law enforcement.
So you had a good career.
Yep, now all I do is play golf.
I know you honk every time you go by. Anything else you want to add, Tom?
No, that's about it. It was an experience the whole time. The trip to Vietnam was a little scary, but made it out of there safely was the main thing.
Okay. Well, you're well respected in the community of Argyle, Tom, and thank you for your service.
Thank you very much.